Om Sri Ganesha Namaha. Hare Krishna. Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Purushottam Maas Mahatmya, Adhik Maas Mahatmya, Chapter 30. Narad ji said, O ascetic, you have already praised a devoted wife. Now please tell me all her characteristics. Sut ji said, O Brahmins, the gods of the earth. Thus, on being asked by the sage Narad, the ancient sage Narayan himself described the characteristics of a devoted wife. Sri Narayan said, O Narad, listen, I am telling you about the best vow for a faithful wife. Whether her husband is ugly, has bad manners, or is handsome, be it a disease, a demon, an angry person, a drinker, a fool, a mute, a blind person, or a deaf person. Be terrible, be poor, be mean, be condemned, be miserable, be attracted to other women. But a chaste woman should always worship her husband as a god, with her words, body, and actions. A woman should never behave harshly towards her husband. Whether she is a child, a young woman, or an old woman, a woman cannot do any work independently even in her own home. Always giving up ego, lust, and anger, she should always keep her husband's mind happy and never please anyone else's mind. A woman who does not become impure when she is looked at with desire by another man, tempted with sweet words, or touched in public. So this woman lives in heaven for as many thousand years as there are hairs on her body. If a woman does not indulge in the company of another man through her thoughts, words, or actions, when he tempts her with wealth, then that woman is called Bhushan and Sati in the world. Even after being requested by a messenger, even after being forcibly captured, even after being covered with clothes and ornaments, a woman who does not serve any other man is called a Sati. She who does not look at others when they look at her, does not laugh when she is laughed at, and does not speak when someone talks to her, is a woman of good qualities and is devoted to her duties. A woman who, despite being beautiful and youthful and skilled in singing and dancing, does not get disturbed on seeing a suitable man, is a sati. A woman who does not desire another man even after meeting him, who is handsome, young, and loved by charming woman, is called a mahasati. A faithful wife does not love any other god, human being, or Gandharv except her husband. Therefore, a woman should never displease her husband. She who eats when her husband eats, feels sad when he is sad, feels happy when he is happy, and wears dirty clothes when he goes abroad, who goes to sleep when her husband goes to sleep and wakes up first. A woman who does not desire anyone else is a devoted wife. She shows devotion to her mother in law, her father in law, and especially to her husband. She is favorable for religious work, favorable for accumulating wealth, and is always ready for household work. When the husband returns from the fields, forest, or village, the wife should get up and please him by offering him a seat and water. Always remain cheerful, give food on time, never speak bad words while eating. The head woman in the house should always be ready to provide seat, food, charity, respect, and sweet words. Whatever money the master has given for household expenses, she should do the household work and save some money wisely. She should not commit any act of covetousness from the money given for charity and should not give money to her relatives without the permission of her husband. A faithful wife should give up talking to others, discontent, talking about other men's business, excessive laughter, excessive anger, and rage. A faithful wife should give up all those things which her husband does not drink, does not applying oil, bathing, applying body lotion, cleaning teeth, all these things a devoted wife should do for the happiness of her husband. O sage, since the Treta Yuga, women menstruate every month and from that day onwards they abstain for 3 days to become pure for household work. On the first day she is a Chandali, on the second day she is a Brahmaghatini, and on the third day she is a Rajki. On the fourth day she becomes pure. Bathing, defecation, singing, crying, laughing, riding a vehicle, massage, gambling with women, applying sandalwood, etc. Especially sleeping during the day, brushing teeth, engaging in mental or verbal intercourse, worshipping a deity. A menstruating woman should not offer obeisance to the gods. One should not touch or talk to a menstruating woman. A menstruating woman should not show her face for 3 nights. She should not speak her words until she has taken a purifying bath. A menstruating woman should take a bath and not look at any other man, but should look at Surya Narayan and then drink Panchagavya. For your purification, drink only Panchagavya or milk. A noble woman should adhere to the prescribed rules. If a woman becomes pregnant, she should be diligent in observing the rules, adorn herself with clothes, jewelry, ornaments, etc., and be diligent in pleasing her husband. Be cheerful, be devoted to your religion, and be pure. Protect yourself and be adorned and be ready to worship Vastu. Do not talk to bad women. Do not let the air from soap touch your body. Do not have contact with dead children, etc. A pregnant woman should not eat food at someone else's place. Do not look at ugly things. Do not listen to scary stories. Do not eat heavy or extremely hot food and eat such food that does not cause indigestion. By following this method, a faithful woman gets a great son. Otherwise, she may miscarry or become erect. One should not criticize the other co wife who is inferior in qualities to oneself, even if one feels jealousy, envy due to attachment, etc. Co wives should not say unpleasant words to each other, should not sing each other's name, and should not praise each other. She should not live away from her husband, but should live near him and should live in the place specified by her husband, on the earth, facing her husband. Do not look freely in the directions or at other men. Look at the husband's face with sensual pleasure. A woman should respectfully listen to the stories told by her husband. She should not talk while her husband is speaking. A woman eager for sexual intercourse should, upon her husband's call, quickly go to the place of intercourse. When her husband sings enthusiastically, she should listen with a happy heart. A woman should be filled with joy on seeing her husband singing. She should not sit near her husband with a restless mind. Even when the situation warrants a quarrel, a woman should not quarrel with her husband, even when rebuked, criticized, or chastised by her husband. A faithful wife remains faithful. Even if she is distressed, she should abandon fear and embrace her husband, not cry loudly and not curse him. A woman should not run away from her home if she goes to a relative's place for a celebration, etc. A faithful wife should go there with the permission of her husband and under the protection of a guardian and should not stay there for long. She should return to her home. When the husband is traveling abroad, she should not speak any inauspicious words, should not refuse him with words of prohibition, and should not cry at that time. When the husband goes abroad, the wife should not apply upton, apace daily, and to save his life, a woman should not do any condemned act. She should sleep near her father in law and mother in law, not sleep anywhere else, and should diligently seek news of her husband every day. She should send a messenger to get news of her husband's well being and should pray to the famous gods for auspicious things. When the husband goes abroad, a faithful wife should perform these actions, not washing her body and wearing dirty clothes. Do not apply tilak. Do not apply eyeliner. Give up wearing perfumed substances, garlands, etc. Do not perform rituals on nails and hair. Do not apply miso, etc. on teeth. Laughing loudly, laughing at others, observing others' behavior, roaming freely, caressing another man's body parts. Faults like walking around in just one garment, walking without any modesty, upright posture, etc., are said to cause immense suffering to women. After completing the household chores, purify the body by applying turmeric and using pure water and then do the clean makeup. A woman should approach her husband with a happy face like a blooming lotus. A woman should behave like this and should be happy in mind, speech, and body. When called by her husband, she should leave her household chores and quickly go to him and say, "O Lord, please tell me why you have called me." Don't stand at the door for long. Don't use the door. Never give away anything received from the master. She should always remain happy by saying that the sweets, food, fruits, etc. left over by her husband are great prasad. She should sleep comfortably, sit comfortably, enjoy herself as per her wish, and should not disturb her husband in any impatient activities. Do not go anywhere alone. Do not bath naked. Do not consider a woman who hates her husband to be a devoted wife. A faithful wife should never sit on a mortar, pestle, broom, stone, instrument, or threshold. A woman who wishes to bath in a holy place should drink the water from her husband's feet. For a woman, her husband is said to be more important than even Lord Shiva or Lord Vishnu. A woman who disobeys her husband and observes fast and rituals takes away her husband's life and goes to hell after his death. A woman who replies angrily to her husband when he goes somewhere for some work is like a bitch in the village and a jackal in the deserted forest. The only good rule for women is that they should always worship their husband's feet before eating. A woman who abandons her husband and eats sweets alone is like a cruel owl sleeping in the hollow of a tree. A woman who abandons her husband and wanders alone in solitude is like a pig in the village or a monitor lizard eating her own faces. A woman who shouts insulting words at her husband is bound to be mute. One who is always jealous of her co wife is destined to be unfortunate in her next life. A woman who avoids her husband's gaze and looks at another man becomes deaf or is averse and ugly. The woman who, on seeing her husband return from outside, quickly provides him with water, a seat, betel leaves, food, massages his feet, etc. The woman who serves her husband with very sweet words has been described by the scholars as the crown jewel among the faithful wives. Husband is God, husband is Guru, husband's religion is pilgrimage, therefore, giving up everything, worship only one husband. Leaving aside the blessings of one's mother, one should abandon the blessings of other women like a snake. At the time of marriage, the Brahmins asked the girl to be a companion to her husband, both in his living and dead state. Therefore, one should follow one's husband like one's shadow. Thus, a devoted wife should always remain devotedly in harmony with her husband. Just as a snake catcher forcibly pulls out a snake out of its hole, similarly, a chaste woman rescues her husband from the messengers of Yam and takes him to heaven. Even the messengers of Yamraj, seeking a devoted wife from a distance, abandon her fallen husband and run away. A faithful wife enjoys the bliss of heaven by living with her husband for 10 crore years, equal to the number of hairs on her body. A widow should always keep her hair tied, eat only once and never eat a second meal. A widow sleeping on a cot brings her husband down, so for the happiness of her husband she should sleep on the ground. A widow should not apply body scrub and should not eat betel leaves. A widow should not consume perfume every day. Offer water and kusha sesame seeds to your husband and offer water to your husband's father and his father's name and gotra. Always wear white clothes. Failing to do so will lead to the roar of hell. A widow who follows these rules is faithful to her husband. Sri Narayana said, in all the worlds and among the gods, there is no god like a husband. When the husband is pleased, all desires are fulfilled. If the husband is angry, all desires are destroyed. From that husband, one gets children, various kinds of enjoyments, beds, seats, wonderful types of food, clothes, garlands, fragrant substances, and even various kinds of fame in this world and in heaven. इति श्री बृहन्नारदीय पुराणे पुरुषोत्तम मास महात्म्ये श्री नारायण नारद संवादे पतिव्रत धर्म निरूपणम नाम त्रिंशो अध्यायः. All those who are listening, please say with me. श्रीमन नारायण 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 भजमन नारायण 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 लक्ष्मी नारायण 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 सत्य नारायण 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 श्रीमन नारायण 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 भजमन नारायण नारायण नारायण. Friends, please like and share this video. Also do subscribe the channel. Thanks. Hare Krishna.